back to Big Yogi'Z Garage. Today I got Brian Lee.
What's up, Big Yogi?
And I got Gary. What's your last?
Filas. Yeah.
Gary Filas?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. I want to head them on because Brian has he's a new coach for the Steelers Longfellows, right?
Yeah.
And this is a former coach. And I'm a Steelers fan, so before I had any other team of this new league or this league, I wanted to have the Steelers on first.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah, because for sure, I appreciate you guys so much. Because not just because of who you guys are, but for what you guys are doing for the city, and especially you've been working on this Steelers thing for what? How long?
25 years. Yep, 25 years in the program.
Tell me a little bit about that before we get into Brian's new role.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I played for the Steelers when I was 8 years old, and then from there, my father actually took the team in 1995. When I graduated high school, then I started to coach with him. I mean, I coached for several years, then he ended up giving me the team, my wife and I, together. I forgot to mention that, of course. That's how we built this thing, right? And we had a lot of success over the years, and we got to a time where it was like, okay, we've done this for 20 plus years, and it's time to kind of go on to the next chapter for us. So we left it to a new person, and that new person just had some troubles, and then just couldn't really do it. So we kind of got the equipment back, and then we asked for some coaches. We started looking for coaches, so we started doing some interviews, and Coach Lee here reached out to me. And to be honest with you, when I took that call, I'm looking for three things. Number one, I'm looking for somebody who understands the game and has a football mind. Talking with Brian, he has some coaching experience. He understood the X's and O's. He had a coach's mindset, so we were good there. Number two is being able to build relationships. That's so critical in this game. You have to build relationships internally and externally. Internally, you have to be able to build it with your team and your players and your parents. It's critical to build a program. And then secondly, you have to have external relationships with the high school coaches. He's in Start's backyard. He's a former Start coach. So he's got to build that relationship. Your success will be measured on the players that you're sending to the next level, right? So we look for that. And then the parochial schools as well. You have to have relationships there because this is going to give the student athletes an opportunity to grow to their education. It's not for all of them, but for some of them. So for those, you have to build those relationships. And then third and final, and this is the most important, and you can't see Ashley. Ashley's back here, but it's family, right? Everything with football is family. And with Brian and his wife Ashley, they're doing it that way. And that's the way they came in through the interview. They came in together. They came up dressed as Steeler coaches with day one, right? So really, really excited to welcome him to the Steeler family, because certainly that's what we are, and we'll be around and we'll support him and Ashley. So we're just really excited about it.
That's awesome, man. That's really beautiful.
Yo, thank y'all for welcoming me to the Steeler Nation. Now, I'm a Bronco fan, but I can set it aside for the Steeler Nation.
Yeah.
I like the black and gold.
Okay. So that being said, tell me how did you find out about them looking for a new coach? Tell me your journey with the Steelers so far.
Okay, so when I started off coaching in 2014, 2015, I was supposed to play ball in Winnipeg in Canada. I came home. I wanted to coach my high school. I wanted to help the kids that I play with, my peers, get better than I had, okay? And most of the athletes that I recruited, because I was the freshman coach at Start, was Longfellow Steelers. And we had one kid named was Batman, right? Batman came in, he had his Batman gloves, Batman cleats. As a freshman, he played JV. As a sophomore, he was a starting safety on varsity. And this kid brought it every single time. And I'm going to put a pin in Batman. I'm going to bring him back up. But it's so crazy how that kid was an impact player for me. And he was the same way for the Steelers. So when I got a call from Don Price, Devin Price, me and him, we start Spartans. We're brothers, Devin Price, mom called me. She said, hey, I know you said you was done coaching, but I got an opportunity for you. I said, the only way I'm going to coach is if it's kids. She laughed. She said, well, it is. And then I said, what team is it? She said, the Longfellow Steelers. And honestly, that's one of the moments when I coach high school, everybody like, oh, why would you want to go down to work with kids? That is where everything started at. Everything's pure with the kids. And then I get a traditional program where if I say I work for the Longfellow Steelers, 90% of the people gonna know who that is. You just had a young man who I train all the time named Jason Kelly, and him and his brother started off with the Longfellow Steelers. And next thing I know is I'm hoping Jason Kelly gets drafted, and shouts out to Longfellow Steelers because that's where he started out playing at.
He will too.
You know, so my biggest thing is I know the tradition was there and the opportunity was there. I talked to my girl. I said, hey, we lay in the bed with my baby. My baby was screaming all day this day, so she's irritated. I said, hey, I want to coach youth football. She looked at me. Youth football? You gonna do this for free? I said, yeah, it's all about the kids. Because when you give your time for the kids, money is nothing. You know, when I was coaching on a high level, they paid you money and it was stressful, you know. A lot of the kids, they are already set in their ways, so they really don't want to break the mold of what they're used to. I get kids from ages from 7 to 8. You know, these kids are never played football before. I could teach them everything, you know. And like he said, I want Coach Nate James, that's the head coach at Start. I want his program to be successful because when I was at Start, we won 3 straight championships. Every level won a championship. We went to the playoffs, you know, and I want that to continue to go to Start. I want Ohio State to be able to say, hey, I'm going to Start. I'm going to go check out the Start Spartans. And that's why once I found out the Longfellow was open, I'm like, I would love to be a feeder program for my old alma mater.
Yeah. So, okay, so when you interviewed Brian, what qualities did you see in him to actually say, yes, this is the guy? Because you had like a bunch of, you said you had a bunch of stuff. What made you say yes to him? Yeah,
so for Brian, really, it was his ability to build relationships, right? Relationships are critical, as we talked about. In the short period of time that Brian has had the program, he's already been in the school several times. My phone is getting, I'm getting calls at work all day today about these kids. They want to come play football. So I'm like, okay, call Coach Lee, call Coach Lee. So there's a lot of excitement right now in the school. And you know, that's what it takes. You got to be a good recruiter. And he's going out, he's hitting the streets and he's recruiting. We left the program in really good shape. In 2 years, the program's kind of taken a little bit of a hit, so it's going to take somebody willing to hit them streets to get Longfellow back to where it belongs. And I feel like he's the right guy for that. He just has the right attitude.
Yeah, and I commend you because I feel like he's the right guy too. Because he's a good dude, but he's hard with them, but not too hard. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to get them right. Why do you want to work with the young kids instead of like older kids? You know, into high school and stuff. What makes you want to?
I remember when I first came on this podcast and me and you was talking about where my name Freak Show come from. If my mom would have never sent me to those camps and the real Freak Show was there, he invested his time into me and I was a kid. He could have went over there and worked with the high school boys. High school boys was getting down. It was physical. It was a lot of pads going on, right? But he took his time and worked with the kids. And the reason why he worked with the kids is because that is where his peer is at. You know, I didn't know nothing. So everything he taught me, I soaked it in like a sponge. So my next rep is a real coaching moment. It's not breaking a bad habit moment. So my biggest thing is we are losing our youth to the streets at an alarming rate, you know, and it's to the point where when I went to Start High School, we was St. Art, a school of excellence. Mr. Caldwell, Robert Caldwell, he was the dean. Everybody on this podcast, hey, write down your number one memory of Robert Caldwell. Put it down in the chat below. But Robert Caldwell, he used to say this phrase: is your battery leaking? Do you need a recharge? You know, sometimes these kids, they need a new environment. They need someone that's been there, they can relate to them, but it's going to hold them accountable. Everyone wants to be held accountable, you know, but people wants to be, like sometimes you have to go reach out and get that kid out of a situation like last year. You know, the Steelers, they had about 10 kids on their senior team. You know, when I went to the schools today, man, they had 10 7th graders, all big size, like, hey, coach, I didn't even introduce myself and they already knew who I was. You know, so that right there, these kids is in love with me. And I'm like, okay, I love this energy too because it's pure, it's genuine. You know, they look up to you as a role model and then I get to set a standard like, hey, do you guys want to be like James Hudson? You know, I train James Hudson sometimes on the weekends. You know, he does this, and this. You can do the same thing if you do this, and this. And you can help a kid out quicker than you can help a teenager because they set in their ways.
Yeah, the kids like nowadays need people like you, like me, like you, because they're going down the wrong path. Because a lot of people don't speak, and I think a lot of times that they see you because you're always posting about your workouts, about, you know what I mean, your gym, your Freak Factory. So they're like, Coach Lee's coming, okay, but they already see that you're helping the community, you're helping a bunch of kids and stuff like that. So it leads. It's like so easy for them to be like, oh, okay, this is a good dude, because they can see him. Because you got to understand, kids are on social media. Kids aren't watching TV.
Oh, they're on social media.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about social media. Do you guys were you guys on social media a lot the last couple of years? Did you have anything to do with that?
Yes, so my wife really manages all that. That's the part that she did a lot of, and she does a really good job at that. I think she's still helping these guys with some of their flyers and some of their communications. And that's kind of what my wife's name's Erica. That's what Erica and I want to do. We want to be able to help them, from a slightly different position, right? The 5 days a week, the coaching, those kind of things, not so much, but we're still there for them, right? Helping them, whether that's putting a flyer out, whether that's having an application, a band application that everybody can communicate on. That's kind of stuff that we're helping at. He can do the other things, right? That's kind of more his specialty now. And then for us, a new role for me. So I'm on the board of directors of the new league, which is the TYFL, which is a resurrected league. We're just really happy to bring the Steelers into that league. So we kind of move forward. We were going to move forward without them. This changed when we got back the equipment, so we're able to bring them in. So for me, this is just one of the entities in our league. Obviously, I'm a little biased, right? I'm from the Steelers. I always have love for this team, but really for me, it's holistically trying to make the whole thing better, right?
Okay.
And getting guys like this to do that.
Can you tell me a little bit about the whole league? What are the teams? Because I know there's like the Ravens and I don't know what Rams. I don't know.
Yep. So,
Rockets or something.
Rockets. That's my boy Coach Mo. Hey, Coach Mo, Rockets, baby.
yeah. So this league starts with the Jets, the Whittier Jets, the Longfellow Steelers. I say starts. Well, that's where it started. That is where it started. You went around, man. So the Jets, the Steelers.
My stepdaughter is a cheerleader for the Whittier Jets.
Okay.
So she's a coach there.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a coach for the Whit. She was there the whole time, and she's always a cheerleader there. But now she's old enough; she's a coach now, so I know them too.
Yeah, so the Jets obviously have a really long tradition at the cheerleading team. Very strong cheerleaders, excellent cheerleading staff there. So the Jets, the Steelers, the Rockets, which is a new team for us, and then the Reynolds Corners Rams used to be the Redskins. The Reynolds Corners Rams, and then the Bengals and the Ravens. The Bengals are from over by like.
What's called Bowser?
Bowser area
school. Not Highland Park, I would say like Bowser, behind the Toledo Zoo area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the Rams are coming from the Rogers area. So, really a Toledo public school feel here for this league. And that's kind
of... And the Ravens are going to be from Point Place, right?
That's correct, yeah, Point Place Ravens. And an interesting team there. They're doing a lot of work right now to fundraise money to try to make it so the kids don't have to pay to play football. So they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
That's awesome. Yeah. There's another question. The Rockets, it seemed like it had two coaches and two. Why was it on the flyer? I seen two coaches for the Rockets. Is that right?
Yeah, they kind of have, I would say, co-leads at head coach, Chris and Mo. Those are their names,
So that's why I was thinking it was two separate teams, because even the cheerleader had two separate cheerleader Rockets.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what their structure is going to be, but right now those two guys are representing.
So there's only one team though. The Rockets are one team. Yeah, it's not two different Rockets, right?
Yeah, so we're excited. We plan on doing a really nice job and bringing in announcers, and we have good referees, and we plan on putting on a show. So we love people to come out and watch the kids.
And then I would like to be Big Yogi'Z Garage to be part of one of those, or at least one game or something. Go there and just do like maybe a Facebook Live. I'll bring like my table and I'll do like a Facebook Live, and I'll because I believe in social media so much, but not bad social media. I don't believe in the social media where people are just writing bad stuff. I believe in being a positive influence and doing something good for the community, because all the kids are watching it, like the stuff you do. What do you think about social media?
I think social media is a positive outlet, because if it's unseen, can you see that talent? There's so much talent in our city that gets uncovered because of social media. Like, for example, we got one of the #1 offensive linemen in the country in Carter Lowe at Whitmer, And if you type in his name on social media, you'll see that he's a 5-star athlete. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll see that this kid works. You know, you'll see that if you type in Tylen Davis, he just got offered by Bowling Green. He's a Whitmer kid. You know, so social media gives us that avenue. Tylen Davis has a 60-inch vertical box. You know, that's one of the craziest boxes I've seen. And if you type his name in, you will see him jumping on that box. Yeah. You know, when my time, social media was just trying to get off, but we did not capitalize. Yeah. We was too busy liking pictures. We wasn't networking with coaches because Twitter is the way to get recruited. You know, so if you don't know how to get recruited, create you a Twitter. And Twitter is the way that you post your highlights, you email the coaches, and they check your social media. That is the way that they can tell who you are, because they don't know who you are. Yeah. But your social media kind of reveals it. Yeah,
it's the platform is called X now because what's the name bought it, but it's the old Twitter. But just for people to know, it's called X now. And a lot of the young football players that I have on here, they all tell me the same thing, that Twitter or X, that's where they get most of the, because I even asked some of the guys, like, how did you, one guy came on, he said he got injured his freshman year. And I was like, well, how did you still get, colleges to call you? And he's like, with X, with Twitter, put in all my stuff on there. And then there's another thing called, I don't know, but where they put all their highlights on. There's like Huddle. Yep, Huddle gets you a button. You put all your highlights on there, and it kind of you can circle where you're at, and it kind of follows you around and stuff like that. All right, so what is the next? Like, what is? Tell me a little bit about. I don't even know what to ask you guys.
I can tell you about some of the next steps.
Yeah, tell me that. Tell me about that.
So I believe his practices is starting next week. Those things are out there. April 23rd, maybe. So
April 23rd. So we going.
Did the kids all sign up? Everybody signed up?
They are signing up now.
Can they still sign up right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't know, we have a Longfellow Steelers page. If you go on our page, there will be a flyer with a QR code. You hold that or take a picture of that, and that will help you get quick registered. We have my phone number, Coach Gary's. Commissioner Gary. Commissioner Gary's phone number, and Ashley, if you're a cheerleader, if you want to be a cheerleader, Coach Ashley's name on the flyer. So if you're interested, all you got to do is fill out a questionnaire. Let us know that you're interested. Fill out your information, register, and the way that a little bit about the Steelers, we have a registration fee of $75. I encourage every parent that I want to fundraise. I want my kids to have nice things. I want them to have hoodies. I want them to have water bottles, book bags, travel suits. But we got to fundraise. So I encourage every family to at least fundraise $100. So if you're looking at it on the back end, if you're looking at it as like $175, but my goal is to be able to go to the Mud Hands and rent out a booth and put in time so they can donate to my program, or go to a speedway, clean up the stands and get things donated. Or if you're a business and you in the West Toledo area, you went to Longfellow, played for Longfellow, give back to the Steelers. Anything you give, it can be 50 cents. Thank you. We would just love to revitalize our program back to the great standard.
Yeah, and then the money you guys are going to make from this, it's not going to go to like personal gain. It's actually going to go to the team, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's all nonprofit, right? We're a nonprofit organization, so we don't pay the coaching staffs or anything like that. But the money earned goes into new helmets. It goes into new shoulder pads. It goes into new game jerseys and some of those other things that Brian mentioned. So really, that's what we have to generate. That's what you have to do. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, right? You can do fundraising with the team. You can get some donations through business. So those are kind of things that we really need help with to just continue this in Toledo, because it is hard. That was one of the things my wife and I did over the years, and fundraising was very difficult. We did it many different ways. We did reverse raffles. We've done the coolers, the Yeti cooler fundraiser. So we've done all these different things. We did cookie dough, and those things are very, very. They're hard to do. They take a lot of time and a lot of effort, but that's what you have to do sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
So that's the plan, and then the proceeds that we get at the games, when you come to the games, at the end of the year, once all our stadium fee rentals are taken care of, our referees are taken care of, then what we do is we take all the money that's left and then we give that to the coaches equally, so that they can buy what we would say is a league commissioned item, which is going to be helmets, shoulder pads, stuff like that for their teams to keep their equipment in good shape. Because it's not cheap. It's, a football uniforms are anywhere from $300 for the equipment, and then with the uniforms, you're probably talking $600 a kid to maintain.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty good. So Brian, so okay, you're not getting paid. So how are you still training kids? Are you still doing the football training and all that? Can you tell me a little bit about that kind of stuff?
One thing I recently did was I volunteered at the schools. You thinking like, Brian, you keep volunteering. You volunteer, you're not getting paid. How do you get paid?
Yeah.
So one thing about running the gym, you know, me and Marcel, we run Focus Fitness. My gym is 24 hours. So that my hours are very flexible. Most of my high school athletes and college athletes, they like the 5 in the morning. They come early, you know. Then the bulk of my clients, they come at the night. So all my midday is free. So I kind of set 2 days like, hey, you either can come in the morning or you can come in the PM because the kids rule the day. So I make my money throughout these days, you know. And one thing about personal training is, you know, once you build up a good client base, your client base, they love you and they recommend you to others. You know, so my classes, they fill up pretty fast, and I'm thankful that I'm able to do my research and to become a good personal trainer. There's a lot of trainers out here. Shout out to all of us. You know, I think everybody, you know, they all try.
We all put in our little bit to try to get this going. So are you still going to do your showcases and bring it? Can you tell me a little bit of, do you have, I seen you have one coming up, right?
Yeah. So last year, me and you sat down and we talked about my showcase. I was nervous. I didn't think that I was going to sell more than 50 tickets. I had over 350 kids.
Wow.
You know, so
that's awesome.
So I was at Cardinal Stretch. Thank you, Coach Al Thompson. He's no longer the coach there. He stepped down. But thank you, Al Thompson, for allowing me to use Cardinal Stretch last year. But I got an opportunity to use the Central Catholic this year. You know, one thing about Coach Dempsey, he was like, hey, Brian, I followed your success, and I think it'll be a great showing to have your showcase at our place because we want every athlete to get their opportunity. So I bet you wonder, like, why would Central want all the athletes to come there and showcase? And it's not even to help them out. It's to bring college coaches to look at kids from Scott, Stark, Bedford, Ottawa Hills, no matter where you at. This showcase is an opportunity for you to get your platform. Central Catholic offers their own showcase. Whitmer offers their own showcase. St. John's, Anthony Wayne, and Perrysburg. That's it. So if you're not in that golden circle, college coaches might not ever see you perform. They might not even know who you are. So that's why it's so pivotal that I throw my showcase so that every kid gets an opportunity. Last year, 5 kids left with scholarships. You know, and then they used that scholarship and got more scholarships, but it gave those kids an opportunity. You know, so hopefully this year 10 kids will leave with scholarships that never had a scholarship. You know, so my thing is I want to be able to give Toledo a resource. You know, like, hey, Central Catholic is in the center of Toledo. It's great parking. This is not a stunt for Coach Dempsey to get your kid in the building. He genuinely feels like everyone deserves the opportunity to get a college school. And if I tell colleges that I'm hosting this event at Central Catholic, it might help those college coaches be like, hey, well, is their Central boys going to be there? Well, yeah. You know, and then we get to see who's the best athlete in our city. Too many times kids go to these camps and they are a money grab. They don't learn nothing. They don't really get nothing but a number. You know, at my camp, you know, one thing you're going to learn is we're going to have stations where you talk to a guy that been in the shoes you've been in. You know, there is going to be a station where a college coach tells you this is what you need to do in order to get recruited. You know, you get an opportunity to see college coaches firsthand, side by side, and they might lead your drill. You know, because the main thing the college coaches tell me is we just want to see these kids be kids. A lot of the times everybody grow up so fast, they don't want to be a kid no more. You know, and at my showcase, we get to see kids compete and see who the best in our city.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when is this showcase and how much is it and how can people actually reach out to you to get on the showcase?
Okay, so I got a thing on Eventbrite. It's called the Freak Factory Showcase. So if you got Eventbrite, you just type in events, you type in the Freak Factory Showcase. It's going to be May 28th. If you pre-register before May 14th, it is $60. You know, last year it was $100, but in my heart, you know, I want to be able to reach every kid. You know, I don't want kids to be like, man, like my mom can't afford $100. Well, I will slash $40 and I will put it. I will take a loss. That's fine to me because it's not because more kids can come. You know, so if you do a pre-order, you're able to get a T-shirt. The T-shirt is critical because every college coach will get mailed the numbers of that t-shirt, and I will send him all your information as far as how tall you are, your high school stats, everything about you to this college coach, so that he don't have to do nothing but show up with a clipboard. Oh, I like number 1. Oh, that's Jason Kelly. Oh my, he got 15 offers. I like this kid. You know, or you go to number 2. This is Mark Nave. Man, Ohio State just offered him. You know, that way that these coaches can go back and be like, all right, I like 1, 2, 3, and 6. Hey, coach, can you tell those that they got this for right? I want to offer those kids. So when you order early, you get you a t-shirt. Your t-shirt comes with your name and your bio, and I get to write a blog about you so that the college coaches know that you're coming. If you come to the door, you still accept it. It's going to be $100 at the door, you know, because I have to get you a shirt made at the door because I don't want you not to have a t-shirt, you know,
But you might not have the bio and all that other stuff.
You don't have the bio. That is important. So $60, you get a write up about you. I get to email the coaches everything about you, and they're going to know you're there. So they're going to know that I'm coming to see Tylen Davis, who's at Whitmer. It's a phenomenal free safety. He's going to be a senior. I get to see Tylen Davis. You know, I know Tylen's going to be there. So that's my thing.
That's awesome. And how important is it to have a person like this that has all these connections? You already talked about it a little bit, but he has all these connections and he has all these dreams and goals for the kids in the city. How important is it to have him in your league, and not only that, but coaching the Steelers?
Yeah, absolutely right. So we're really excited about that, like I said. And then the other thing that we didn't really talk too much about was when I'm interviewing these people and I'm looking for the right fit, right? We talked about relationships, right? We talked about some of those things. But the other thing is you have to be willing to do all that extra work, right? How can you help the kid get to the next level, right? Brian can do that, right? If we had like a motto in our program for over the years. We were successful, and I believe it was because of this motto. And the motto was this. It was, don't tell me what you want. I don't want to hear what you want. It's what are you willing to do? So when our players started talking about things they wanted, whether that be playing time or winning a championship, we would immediately divert that to what are you willing to do. And Brian, obviously with all the things he's doing, he teaches the kids how to do what needs to be done to get what you want. And that is the key. And that was the biggest thing for me personally as a coach. That's coaching, right? That's not from the league. That's me being a coach of the Steelers, wanting the Steelers to be in good hands from a coaching perspective. That was our motto, and I believe he brings that motto.
Yeah. Okay. How about do you know that he played flag football? You know all that?
A little bit, just a little bit.
He's not only just a coach. Like, he knows the game. He knows the techniques. He knows how to, like, when I go to block, I used to block this man. Okay. I would be a lineman. He's the defensive guy. When I would go put on my hands, he would, like, he knows exactly the motions to take, the thing. Like, so it's not, you're not getting just a guy that knows, you know, these people. No, you're getting someone that plays football and plays it to, like, the top of the, like, he's one of the best people in our whole entire league. Flat out, right? Yeah. You say that all the time, and I know you do, but I can tell you from the outside looking in, because not only did I play against him, but I've actually seen him just watching him, and he dominates the whole line of scrimmage. Most people can't stop him at all. He picks people up and he throws them out of the way, literally. So you're not getting just someone that knows a lot of people. You're actually getting somebody that plays the game, knows their techniques, knows how to train these kids, knows how to talk to them. He knows how to be stern with them. He knows how to be gentle with them. He knows how to love them. And it's like, so you picked the right person. I just want to make sure you know that, because not only because me and him wasn't even good friends. We actually met towards this part. I knew him from football, but I was more like, and he was probably like, because we both had different teams. Yeah, sure. But once I had him on my podcast, I started paying more attention to what he's doing and everything that he puts in. And like, he's not rich. He's doing a lot of this stuff out of the love of his heart. And that's why when he reaches out to me, I try to automatically find a date for him, because I know who he is, and he's not doing it for money. If he did it for money, then he wouldn't be doing this. If he's worried about money, he wouldn't be volunteer for these teams. He wouldn't be doing these showcases for $60. No, he has enough connections where he can say this showcase is $300, and he'll get some kids, maybe not as many, but he still get money. You know what I mean? So I believe in that. Tell me a little bit. What do you think about?
So,
Because I don't even know what question to ask.
So it's so funny. All right, most people they look at opportunities to be selfish. You know, when I sat down at the league, our first league meeting, this hoodie was still fresh hot. We sitting down, I meet some of the coaches. First thing I said was, how can I get everyone a part of my showcase? Not just bringing your kids, but I want you to come help me run it, so that everyone in Toledo sees the TFL, a strong, united group. I don't want, like I was saying, Coach Mo. Coach Mo works for the Rockets. You know, last year he was with the Tesla, and he came over with us, and I'm thankful, you know, because it's not even about the competition. It's about that I know that this guy is going to bring intensity and the right mental attitude to our league. And that makes me want to coach even better. It makes me want to push my kids even harder because I know the standard in our league is going to be phenomenal. And then you got the Jets. You know, that's the only time you're going to ever hear me mention that name.
Yeah.
You know, that's my rival.
Yeah.
That's like Ohio State, Michigan to me.
Okay.
But the fact that is my rival, but they help me out the most. You know, they like, hey, we will help you if you need cheerleaders. You know, we always have 100 cheerleaders. Any cheerleaders that won't make it, it's not because they're not good. We just have 100 cheerleaders and we got limited spots.
Yeah.
We will tell every girl to come to you. And they will help me, hey, we'll help you on this flyer. Hey, we'll help you with this.
Yeah.
It's like as a family within the league. And when you do that, you eliminate that whole snake in the grass type of thing. So one thing about the TFL I can tell you if you're looking in the outside looking in is I like Coach Booling. I like Coach Cooper. We all love each other. And everyone will be at the showcase together wearing our separate colors but together.
Yeah.
You know, so that you can see that it's all about the united group of men. Because now we get all us men in a room with the young man who needs us critically. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
You know, using my resources to help anybody get to the next level, that's key to me.
Yeah.
It ain't about the money because at the end of the day, if everybody cared about money, who gonna care about our kids?
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of money in this world and it's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
You know, which one you gonna put first? I'll put the kids first so that when it's time for me to make the money, the kids like, hey, Coach Lee, you can go ahead and retire. You know, go ahead and sit down so that, you know, when I do my 25 years with the Steelers, you know, if I pass it on, this standard is going to be to the next level. You know, we probably have a Steeler bus outside.
Yeah.
That's my goal, to push it, because he set the standard. He was 25 years in the program.
Yeah.
You know, multiple three-peats. It's like to win one championship in the league, this guy won 3 multiple times. They got shirts that say three-peat, 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 three-peat.
Dang.
You know, this another thing that gives me the chills about the Steelers. So I'm opening up a handbook. He gives me a book of, you know, the rules and regulations of the league. But right there is a song. You know, it's a Steelers song that a parent made for the fans to sing. And they sing it during the games.
Dang.
You know, I didn't master it yet, so don't put me to the test. But, you know, he knows it. But it's like having tradition and being able to hold up that tradition.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm going to have pass it off to him is we got some awards for the Steelers that, hey, if you won this award, please comment your name in the year you won the award so we can shout you out on our page. Like it was a kid named Batman that I mentioned, and he's going to pick up about Batman and the things about him was, but when he played for the Star Spartans, Darren, oh man, that kid played hard and he was a spark plug. You know, anytime you needed to play, I don't care if it's a kickoff, he gonna make that play. And he don't say nothing. He's not gonna go out there and say, hey coach, I'm gonna go make that play for you. He gonna go out there and make that play. And it's gonna electrify everybody. And then that's gonna carry you over to the success of the whole next week, the following week. So the Steelers have a tradition of giving awards out at the end of the year, and these awards mean something. They've been going around for 25 years. I'm going to let them tell you about it a little bit.
All right, tell me a little bit about those awards that kids win for the Steelers.
Yeah, so the two that we've talked with Brian about that we really wanted to keep was number one, we call the Man of Steel, and that kind of goes to the most valuable player on the team. They do everything right. They do their grades right. They do practice right. They do games right. They do everything right. That's the Man of Steel. And one of the traditions that we have with that award is when we announce it at the banquet, that player is expected to come to the stage and take it. And when he takes it, he's expected to say something about his teammates, right? And that's a tradition. And it's so great to watch the kids. I get chills, just thinking, watching the kids up there, and they're crying, right? They're crying because they're happy they won the award. But what you hear, what they say is what got them the award was everything that everybody else did, right? And that's the true meaning of a team. And when we have that, we win. That's how we win championships. We win them that way. And then the other award was called the Spark Plug. And he had mentioned a little bit with Darren McMillan. This kid was amazing. He was that kid that it did not matter if we were doing good or if we were doing bad.
Is that Batman?
Batman.
Oh, okay.
His name's Darryl McMillan. Okay. And it didn't matter. It just didn't matter the situation, which is critical for a football team because sometimes things don't go right. And you need players that got their head right? You got to have your mind right. And he always had his mind right. And he would go out and just make incredible plays that would spark the team. So we created the Spark Plug. And then ever since that happened, years and years and years ago, I mean, he's 25 years old now. We invite him back to the banquet, and he hands out the award.
Oh, so he hands out the Spark Plug to the next
Spark Plug, yeah.
Oh,
so it's
awesome.
it's a big deal, right? It's a big
deal.
deal.
Like a tradition type deal.
So he's gonna be 35 years old, handing this Spark Plug over, and it means something.
Yeah.
Because then the kids get to be like, "That was you. You the reason that this." So if we ever come up with another award, these kids know that these mean something. That this just don't come out of nowhere. This award was made because of this player did this, and now it's an honor that you get to.
Yeah.
You get to carry this thing.
And we didn't always have one.
Oh, you didn't?
Every year you don't always have a Spark Plug.
Oh, you don't. So also some years no one won it.
Yeah, there was some years, not too many, because you typically have that player, but it's not a guarantee.
How about the Man of Steel? You get every year? Does someone get one?
We had a Man of Steel every single year. The Spark Plug was kind of it was tough. We didn't have it every single year. I think maybe 1 or 2 years we didn't have it. That was all. But yeah, the Man of Steel. The only thing I wish we would have done differently, and I shared it with Brian, is the thing is I would be at football practice or I'd be at the mall anywhere, and these players, they come up to me and they're like, "Coach." And you got to remember, I coached them when they was 13 years old, and now they're a man, right? And I don't recognize them, And the first thing they say is, "You remember me, right? I won the Man of Steel." Like that sticks with them, right? The only thing I wish I would have done over the years is I wish I would have kept a trophy with the team, and I would have plaqued their names for the Man of Steel, and then I would have handed that to Brian. So that's one thing I think he can improve on. I would recommend that just because it means so much to the kids, and I can tell you that with experience. 20 years, you'll be coaching 20 years, and this kid's going to come up to you and be like, "You remember me, right? Like, we were the best team."
We were the best. Oh, last year we was undefeated.
Yeah. So it's hard. But okay, so you're really big on the team thing, right? So tell me a little bit about this whole new league. These guys, like what he was saying, these guys, all these coaches, all these cheerleader coaches, you guys are going to have to work as a team to get this league to go, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So we got 6 teams. We're looking, right now we're still building everything. We're going to play our games in the stadiums, of course, but we're building everything on integrity, right? That's what this whole thing's about. Brian can attest that he's only been to one meeting, but he can kind of feel what that is. So we're going to be very strict in like districting and very strict in things like that because we want them to build their neighborhoods. This ain't about you driving around the city picking up kids. This is about building your neighborhood, right? Building a relationship with the high schools, right? And then building a relationship with the players' parents, making the players better off the field, right? That's really what we're trying to do. And we're going to give them a place to do it, a good, safe place to do it. And I'm just really excited about it. It's nice to be on the side I'm on now where I can just sort of be part of the, the bigger picture. And I can watch guys like Brian and these guys really do the thing.
That's awesome. And then, okay, how about people that are helping you guys, sponsor you? Do you guys have some like local businesses or something that are helping you guys get this off? Can one of you guys tell me about it?
I know. Point Place, the Ravens. He set the standard.
Okay.
He literally went to door to door of Point Place. Like for example, there's a place called the Whale's Tail. Shout out to the Whale's Tail. It's a place called the Whale's Tail. They had a coach who used to coach for the Longfellow Steelers, but he's a Point Place guy. He donated his time to the Steelers, but he's a Point Place guy. So when the Ravens came knocking on the door, like, "Hey, we want to make sure that these kids can play for free." People at Point Place, they love sports. So the first thing they did was, "How much do you need and where do we need to send it to?" So when you love your area and you want to see that, like he said, community, You know, they're going to be practicing at Friendship Park. That's in the heart of Point Place. You know, so they really set the standard on going to the villages, going to your businesses that's in your village and ask. Because it's nothing just to ask.
Yeah.
So one thing Coach Lee will be doing is I will be going to the Miracle Mile Plaza and I will ask him, hey, is there anything that I can do or my team can do to get a donation from you? It don't gotta be money. It could be water bottles. It can be, hey, we gonna donate pizza on a Friday.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate anything.
Yep.
You know, it could be, hey, I got some old practice equipment in my closet. Come check it out. Make sure it's safe. If you want it, it's yours. Anything.
Awesome.
It's just about the kids.
There's one thing that I want to do for you guys. I can't really give you money but I want to put the Steelers Longfellow. I want you guys to make me like a little sign like this. And since I'm a Steelers fan, I want to help you guys promote your team. If you guys give me a little sign, put a QR code or something, and I'll put it. You can even put the league, put Steelers, and then put the league underneath. You know what I mean? And I'll put it here because I want to. I got 2 sponsors right now, Needle Masters and Mirror, and I want to get more eventually. But I don't want you guys to give me nothing. I want you guys to give me just a plaque, send me a logo or something, and I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna put it for the whole football season.
You like Needle Masters? Shout out to Needle Masters.
Yeah. Dominic Garcia. That's who does my tattoos.
So you got some good ink.
So what happened was he does all my tattoos.
You know he did Coach Ashley's tattoos. Hey Damo. Coach Ashley, she said thank you for her artwork. She got a couple she want to get done too.
Yeah, so I want to help you guys with that because I like that we can promote the Steelers and not only that, but we can put the league underneath of it. I like the Steelers, so that'll be nice. I would just say Longfellow Steelers, and I'll help you guys. Even though I am part of Whittier Jets, I am part of the Ravens because I know them people too. But we have to do this together.
This is family.
As a family. Even though, you're gonna want to beat the Jets. Because you have to because that's your team, and you have to create a winning environment. But at the end of the day, those coaches are there. They're trying to do the same exact thing as you.
And then at the end of the day, if the if Whittier works hard and my Steelers do what we supposed to do, we send our kids up to start. So that means Coach James' job is that much easier because he got 2 programs that he know for a fact these coaches is going to work. And I know for a fact Coach Mo going to work. And he's West Side, so Scott get their feeder district good for Coach Mo. Coach Mo is on the West Side. You know, that's beautiful.
Because it's like we're losing football. We're losing, if it doesn't start with you guys, how are they ever going to get to high school or to college or something like that? Because a lot of parents are scared of football. Tell me why are so people scared of football nowadays?
Yeah, I definitely seen it over the course of my time, right? Like it was really, we'd get 100 plus kids and then it got down to about 75 kids, right? So, and I think a lot of it is injury, right? They're really worried about injury. They're worried about head injuries, right? So we take that into consideration, right? We get helmets reconditioned every 2 years, right? We do everything we can, but there are some dangers to the sport of football and some parents, I think that's a big part of it, right? And then the other part of it is making sure that our coaching staff are trained properly, right? So going to USA Football and taking those courses is something that we're going to require our coaches to do. You have to teach them how to do heads-up tackling, right? You can't be reckless with your players. It's very important that you understand how to teach the game. Another reason why I thought Brian was a good fit. That's something I spent time on. We had a 15-minute period every day on tackle technique. Every day, we never missed it. It was at the exact same time, right? Because it's so important to the game. And it's not just because you have to be a good tackling team. It's because you got to tackle safely, right? So I think that's what we can do as coaches, is to provide safety. And if you don't have injuries, then you have the results, right? So I think that's kind of what I'm trying to mention.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how do you train so kids won't get hurt? And
that's why I'm so happy. So one thing that I'm real big on right now, everybody plays on turf. Okay, so if you're listening to me, I need you to turn your headset up because I'm going to give you some solid information. So the one thing I learned is that if you train yourself like an everyday being, you normally get hurt, because you're not putting the certain stress on your body like it is in a game. So one thing I learned is when it comes to knees, everyone wants to play on turf. Turf does not give. If you look at underneath the turf, it's pretty much concrete. They dig out all the dirt, fill it in with rocks, put a whole layer of concrete, then fill it in with rubber pellets, and then stamp the turf down. So you don't have no natural dirt to give. So you have to really develop your legs individually. You got to work your body individually. Parents, when you send your kids to a personal trainer, it's not to make them the biggest kid ever. It's to give them the extra work that they're not doing in practice. You know, so for example, when he said the tackling period, you know, we got periods for tackling, for blocking, for running, for stretching, for conditioning, because when you set the standard of this is how we train, you get better results. If you go out there and you be reckless, like I remember the only time I ever got hurt in college was in the spring game. I'm going to tackle a guy named Julius Taylor. Shout out to Julius Taylor. He dipped underneath me, and my own teammate had his head down, was trying to make a kill shot, tore my shoulder right up. You know, I didn't have no severe injury, but I was out for 4 weeks. That's a month.
Yeah.
You know, and it was because he was reckless. He had his head down. And when we was in film study, the coach didn't care about him trying to make a kill shot. He was like, hey, dude, if you look here, your teammate is on the tackle. Why don't you get the ball? Because you reckless, you under control. That's because that's was how he was taught. You know, that's instincts. Once you teach a kid, I want you to tackle with your head down and spear through a kid, and you teach him this for 4 years, how can you break that cycle?
So hard.
You know, so it's pivotal. Like you said, USA Flag has so many pivotal courses where they break it down to this is how you block. This is how you tackle. You know, because certain amount of tackles, everybody used to want to do the hawk tackle, the hip drop, but it's tearing people's knees up. It's dislocating hips. If you go back to the old traditional way, you put your helmet on the shoulder pads, you put the head on the ball, you wrap up, drive your feet. You can't go wrong with that, you know. And I think coaches, if we go back to fundamentals, take less team time, and go back to teaching fundamentals, individual periods, a lot of parents will be like, okay, I feel like my kid has been trained to the way that he won't go out there and be reckless, or he will go out there and protect himself because the coaches got him aware of the situation. If you're a running back and you're running through the hole, you should be cautious of people falling down, laying down. You know, you should already know I'm going to get hit. So you should brace yourself for these things. And that comes from repetition. If you don't work at it, you don't get better at it.
You have to create muscle memory, right? That's why you do it over and over and over and every day. And the kids, they get tired of it, right? There's no doubt about that. Oh, man, they don't want to do it, right? But eventually, you see it in the games. You know, that's just what they do now. They don't think anymore. Injuries happen when you think. They're not thinking, they're just playing. It's just muscle memory.
Because it kind of burns into their unconscious mind, right? It's kind of like when you're learning how to drive like a stick shift car. At first you're going first gear, second gear, but after a while you're just like,
now you can pay attention to what's going on. Because this is just happening, right? And that's muscle memory.
It's muscle memory. Yep. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the cheerleading and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so the cheerleader, each team will have their own cheerleading coach, and then they're starting really soon. Like in the next week or so, you'll see some of the advertisements on the TYFL. So if you look that up, they're running all the advertisements, all the teams in the different areas. We would say go cheer for the team that's in your area. Flyers should be in the schools. Longfellow, I'm sure you guys got some flyers out there.
We were there today.
Yep, so they're there today. They're already hitting the streets, so that's good. But that's really what's going on with the cheerleaders. They're going to have a 15-minute halftime where they're going to go out. Each team goes out at halftime and they do their choreography, their dancing, they're cheering. They obviously are cheering during the whole game. So just a lot of really good things around the cheerleading program, and those kids just support.
Yeah, and one thing I know about cheerleading. Once those girls get in there, they're some of them are really young, but after a while they get older, and then they come back and help the Steelers, and like you'll have like junior cheerleader coaches, and it's like it's beautiful because I pick up Bella, my stepdaughter, and she's the coach now for the Whittier Jets, and I'll say, I'm so proud of you because it's so good that she says that she likes it because the girls like now. She's a little girl. She's 14 years old, but she goes in there and like the 7-year-olds come up, hey Bella, and they give her a hug and they look up to her, and then she thinks that can lead. You know Bella. She was at the Free Factory one time.
Oh yeah.
So then eventually she thinks that can lead her into like college cheerleading because she's a cheerleader at Southview. and then she can actually become somebody, maybe even train people how to cheerlead and the right techniques and stuff like that. So I think it's really important.
Yeah, and again, that's the family thing, right? So with Ashley being the cheerleading coach at Longfellow, right? Those two are together, right? You're there, she's there, it's a family. And then it breeds family, right? And then you get those returning cheerleaders, and then they're helping. And then once that thing's rolling, you're on cruise control now because the machine's running. You got it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really important.
That's
The cheerleading is awesome.
Brian, I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about Ashley. Tell me a little bit about how important she is for the family role, and not only that, not only in your family, but what family role she's going to have with the Longfellow Steelers.
The key thing about Ashley is a loving person. You know, one thing is, as a young lady, it's so hard to have someone in your corner who understands and listens to you, but speaks life into you. So outside of Ashley being a phenomenal cheer coach, you know, she has a great staff. She's going to have Sophie Campos come and help her out. Sophie graduated from Start. She's a cheerleader at Lord's. You know, she's going to have a kid named Tyler. Tyler was a phenomenal tumbler at Start. He brings choreography. He brings great things to the table. You know, and then the fact that Ashley has friends and siblings that is cheering now. I remember Bella came to my gym and she was training with Ashley's little niece, Sophie.
Okay.
And one thing about that is you got people who you can resources. You know, she can call Miss Dawn. Hey Dawn, that's the Start cheer coach. Hey Dawn, I need you to come over and help me out with tryouts. And Miss Dawn will be like, oh, I would love it because those girls might be future Spartans. So the key thing about Ashley is, you know, she really brings the intensity to our girls to the point where they don't get the same love and nurture as the boys get from me. It don't matter if you're a boy or girl, you want to cheer. Ashley's going to love you and bring you in and make sure that you are taught the Steeler way. You know, and one thing that I really am big on is the football players and the cheerleaders, they go hand to hand.
Yes.
You know, without a football team, there is no cheerleaders. And it's kind of tough to be a football team without cheerleaders.
Yeah,
you know,
you want that encouragement.
You want the encouragement. You want someone out there cheering you on. You want someone out there entertaining the crowd. You know, you want someone out there that you running out and you got cheerleaders cheering you out. That right there, that whole family aura. You got somebody bragging on you. You ain't gonna beat our football team. Our football team better than yours. You know, that right there is everything to kids, and that is missing right now. You know, there ain't no true good. Like how Whittier, I can't say that word, you know, it's done.
Go ahead.
How Whittier, like they set the standard for cheer. If you ask anybody about cheer, it don't matter if you in Tesla, lightweight league, anybody, they gonna tell you that the Whittier Jets, her name Disa does a really good job, you know, and she set the standard. You know, so now me and Ashley, we are competitors. I'm like, hey Ashley, our girls gonna be hitting cartwheels, you know, because that is the standard. If the league best does it, it's a good competition. And I know for a fact Ashley is going to. When we was at the schools today, all the girls run up to Ashley, hey, oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my God, I love your shoes. And it's like a natural energy. They flow to her, so I know for a fact that this will be a no-brainer. I got people that wanted to be the cheer coach, but that wouldn't have brought that family thing because now she's invested, I'm invested. We both gonna be taking kids home.
Yeah, and it's like a family thing.
Oh, yeah.
You guys will be able to work together and then go home and
together.
talk about the stuff. Is that how you and your wife did it, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's the football family that I talked about. It's the internal football family. It keeps that right. Because when you have cheerleaders and you have football players, most of the time they're brothers and sisters, right? Because they're close in age.
Yeah, you're right.
So it brings, that's that internal family I talk about. Now mom and dad are fully invested because they got a cheerleader and they got a football player. So we always kind of had a rule. We took care of our football families. If you have a football player and a cheerleader, we're going to prioritize you, right?
Yeah.
We prioritize that because at the end of the day, we're trying to build that.
We're trying to build a family. So to give everybody a quick note on us, we are the Longfellow Steelers. You know, we are thankful to be here. Thank you to Coach Yogi. You know, I call you a coach because everybody look at you as a life coach. You know, because when we both was 300 pounds together, we're not 300 pounds right now.
No more.
You know, we was in the gym, we were sweating. And when I was on that treadmill, I was manifesting my life. I wanted to be better. I wanted to help those kids, but I had to help myself first. You know, and now that as a man, I have my own kids. I got 2 boys who I'm happy that one day that hopefully they will play for the Steelers. You know, I got 2 daughters that I know for a fact they can't wait to cheer for the Steelers.
Yeah.
You know, that gives me hope that, you know, I can continue my family legacy, because coaching high school football is phenomenal. Coaching college football is phenomenal. But having that family structure is everything to me, you know. And the way, like, when me and Ashton, we both walk into these schools together and we carrying our baby, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
All the kids, oh, baby, baby, baby.
Yeah.
We want them to know that, you know, we're going to come visit your school, no matter if I got my kid or not, I'm coming, you know. And I'm going to give a shout out to a boy. Is his name Josiah Ridley? He's a middle one, but hopefully I'm saying your name right. But I go into King, you know, because my kids go to King. That's not my feeder school. You know, he told it we got districts, you know. But my kids go to King because that's one of the best boys' school for boys. They got a principal named Willie Ward. He's a phenomenal man. TPS proud. I go into King. My kids don't even know I'm supposed to be there. You know, they having a 3-point competition, and my boy is leading the way. And all the teachers, they're telling me how this man is the Young Men of Excellence president of the school. You know, how when I work out with him, I made my boys come work out with me at the park, right? I got high school boys, and then we work out together, you know, just a workout. This same kid comes in first place every time. You know, so some things you can't teach.
You can't.
You know, and me and this kid never put on Steeler gear together. We just work out. So, like, those type of moments give me so much hope that I know that our Steelers is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, I believe you got some brothers, you know. So, shout out to my little Ridley boy, you know. Shout out to the Ridleys. That's a good family. I'm just thankful to be here, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, so tell me about how important it is to have we talked about the football players and their cheerleaders. Their cheerleaders are going to be cheering to the fans. How important is it for the people around Longfellow or whoever is to come to the games to help us out so we can actually get this thing going?
Yeah, it's incredibly important, because that's how we can help the teams, right? Because when the fans come, you know, we get the proceeds from that, right? We get the money, and then we can share that money back to the teams. We can afford to pay for the stadiums and the refs, and we want to give the best experience. We want to have the best chain gangs. We want to have the best timekeepers. We want to have the best referees, right? All those things are very important to run the type of league that we're going to run. So it's very important. And then the thing about the fans, and you know, Brian mentioned a little bit before, our fans, the Steeler fans, are great. Historically, it's because of the values that we have. We have a song. Brian, he'll have a new song, whatever. But when they're in the stands and they're wearing the shirts, right? You get the shirts out. You get them early because you want everybody wearing your stuff. And then your fan section is huge. And then it's great as a coach when you're walking around the sidelines and you hear the fans singing the song because you guys are you put in the work to get the results that you wanted, right? That's so great. And then we would also like caravan together for our last game. It was a big deal, all the way over to the University of Toledo. And it was a little bit obnoxious. I'm not gonna lie. We had this long line of cars. Everybody's honking their horns. We enter the University of Toledo, and we would always park in that first lot there to gather. And everybody's rolling up the black and yellow song. Ashley's back there. You know what I'm talking about? The jam in the black and yellow song. The kids are feeling good. If you're looking good, you're feeling good. You're playing good. All those things, right? And everybody gathers. And once everybody was there, we entered, right? We entered as a team. We always entered as a team.
Walking in together.
That's you got to keep that tradition.
Come on, listen. So
even the song, don't.
I'm not changing no song.
No.
Oh, no, we're gonna learn it.
Yeah,
we gonna learn it. We gotta learn it.
Because
it's tradition.
We got to keep the tradition.
Keep that family spirit
And start new, right? We have new traditions. Bring new traditions.
Yeah, you can bring new ones, but always keep the ones that are solid. Like that, the last game, everybody ride together. Maybe even get a bus.
And everybody.
Yeah, and then everybody behind the bus.
Put the players in a bus and let the parents follow it.
Yeah.
Just come in
together. One. You know, and if you are a Steelers parent, we got high expectations for our sections. You know, I want all our parents to sit together. And then let's say your kid is a senior and it's the Pee-wees. If you are free, come. But if you're not, drop your kid off to his peer, because the one thing about my coaching staff is parents will volunteer to be peers. Because at games, kids run everywhere. That's not how we're going to operate. We're going to stay in one section. My goal is when we fundraise, I have food for them in the morning and food for them during the day. Because kids want to hang out and they want to be there all day. And I want to make sure they have a safe place where they can do that, you know? So one thing about the Steeler Nation, what we're going to do is we're all going to sit together, hang out together, and when our games are over, leave together. So no one is left behind. No one is saying, hey, I need a ride, or hey, I'm hungry. Can someone feed me?
Yeah.
We're going to make sure we take care of them.
So if they need a ride, you make sure they get home.
Oh, yeah, everybody.
If they need food, you make sure. If they need something, you guys are going to make sure that these
That's
kids
the
are
biggest
taken
part
care
of fundraising, you know, because then I don't feel bad on them. Like, hey, I have coaches that have been taking kids all year. Let's say I got coaches that have been taking kids back and forth to practice all year. At the end of the year, I want to try to get that coach a $50 gas card. It might not mean nothing, but that one fill up might help him out throughout the week, you know? And that's my biggest thing. I'm not in this to make dollars off of these kids. I'm in this to make these kids become scholarship holders. You know, go be successful.
Yeah,
go
build
be
relationships.
Yeah, go. Yes.
Because the thing is, what it was, when you build these relationships, that's gonna lead to somewhere.
That's gonna lead to everywhere.
Everything, like just a relationship with him. You're building that relationship with him. That's gonna lead to somewhere beautiful. One day you might be the commissioner of you know what I mean. He's gonna have to step out. You say you do 25 years. You're gonna have all these great kids that are gonna look up to you, and it's gonna build. These guys are gonna be business owners. They're gonna be this. Of course, some are gonna do something else, but a lot of them, if you train them the right way and you make sure that league goes the right way, these kids are going to be successful kids.
And it's going to be a situation where Toledo has one league, you know, because at the end of the day, we don't want no one to feel uncomfortable. We do not want to feel like it's a hostile takeover. We are genuinely here for the kids, you know, and I can tell you, when I went to that board meeting, the head referee is right there with me. You know, me and him talking, we laughing, and he's telling me his expectations. Hey, I don't want you to cuss at kids. Fine, we won't cuss at all.
Okay.
I'm gonna teach my coaches how to not cuss at all.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate when kids slam helmets. Okay, I'm gonna make sure in practice we infiltrate. Hey, listen, I'm gonna put an emphasis. Do not slam your helmets. Do not smack your lips at the ref. You know, show respect. Stand tall. That way you eliminate things going forward, that these kids are in high school and they still keeping that right mental attitude, that RMA thing. Because when I was a kid, they drilled RMA in me, RMA.
What's that mean?
Right mental attitude.
Oh, okay.
Non-stop, you always want to have the right mental attitude. You losing in the game, you're down 14 points, there's only 3 minutes left. You got to have the right mental attitude to go get the job done. You know, you at work and your boss told you someone called off, you got to stay 2 hours. You got to have the right mental attitude to tell your boss, okay, thank you, I'm going to knock it out. You know, because at the end of the day, it's always next man up, and you got to have the right attitude. And that's what I know for a fact. With me and my coaching staff, we're going to make sure our kids have that right mental attitude.
Yeah,
so they got to keep it on their chest every day. You know?
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, tell me a little bit about the parents that they want to get their kids involved, but they just drop them off and they don't have nothing to do with it. How important is it for the parents to not just drop kids off, to actually be part of the Steelers, be part of the league, so we can actually get these kids on the right track? Because you're going to do your part, but we need the parents to do their part. How important is that?
It's critical, right? It's critical because a lot of the times you have conversations with parents post-game. Now, there's rules around that, but they always want to talk if their kid isn't playing, right? That's typically when you'll get approached. I had a rule, 24 hours. I don't talk about playing time for 24 hours. We talk about it at practice, and we talk about it together. We talk about it with the player. We talk about it with the parent. Because what we're going to do is we're going to give you some information on how to get more playing time. If you come to practice, you will see why you're not getting playing time. It's not because we don't like that player or that family. It's because he's not doing the things he needs to do to be successful. So by coming and by seeing and by participating, you see those things. I don't have to get involved, right? So that's a big part of it. And then just sharing in the successes with the kids. Over the years, I've coached a lot of kids. And I've had kids come to me and say, Coach, some of my best players, just great players, will come to me and say, Coach, I need you to help me with my math homework. I can't do it. I can't do it. And he was upset and almost like crying because he couldn't do his math homework. So we sat down and we did it together, right? So when parents are more involved, you know, you don't see that as much, right? So all of those things, they all come together. Now we're going to offer those things. You know, Brian's going to do the same thing. He's going to make sure that their grades are right. I know he is. But parents, get involved. Stay involved with your kids. There's a lot of bad options. And to be honest with you, those are the easy options. The hard options you got to work for. If you're playing for Brian, you're going to have to work. right?
word.
It's going to be hard, but it's going to be successful. You're going to be successful as a person. If you go the other route, you ain't going to be successful, and you're going to wish you could, and it's going to be too
You're like, hey, why did I come over here and I could just be in that black and gold? Look at them over there dancing.
Yeah.
You can come over here and dance with us, but come on, you could have been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But that starts in 2 weeks, right? That doesn't start in September when the lights come on.
Oh no.
Right, so you got to put in the work.
You got to put in the work during practice, during the tough time. So when the lights do come on, you guys can actually shine.
That's just a result. The
Okay,
game,
so-
that's just a result.
Tell me a little bit about the grades. Do the kids have to have certain grades and all that?
The way that the Longfellow Steelers will operate is, is the grades is a key, but it's more about the behavior.
Okay.
Because if you have good behavior, good grades normally follows. But if you're not in the classroom, how can you do your work? So if you're gonna be a Longfellow Steeler parents, I'm more big on behavioral problems. So we will have a list. Each week your kid will have to get each teacher's signature every Friday. If you don't got the signature, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to miss out a quarter, because you didn't do your part, you didn't take care of your business. So if let's say, for example, one of my sons, they had all great days in school. So we already know this is contributing to you playing, because we got special teams. We got so many ways that you can find a way to get a kid that worked hard on the field, And if your grades are aligned and your behavior is aligned, you're good to play. And I feel like if you teach these young men early that at 8 years old, I got to go every week to give my teacher a grade check sheet or a behavior sheet. When you get to high school, what are you going to want to do? The same thing, just to show the coach, like, hey, coach, look at this week.
Yeah.
I had a couple unsatisfactories last week. I'm all good this week, coach.
Yeah.
And then you give the kids incentives. If you come 5 weeks straight with this, you get a free hoodie. With your name on the back. Every kid wants the name on the back of their jerseys. But you got to do your part in the classroom.
Okay.
You look good, you play good. You do your part, I do my part. And it's a good working situation.
Absolutely. All right. So is there anything else? I don't know exactly. I don't know what else to ask. Is there I'll ask both of you guys. Is there anything else you want to put out there, or is there anything you want to tell the community about this whole league and the Steelers and everything involved?
Yeah, I would just say be excited because we're doing something really great. We're doing it with people who have been around the league for 25 years, the old league. And we're bringing in a lot of those good values and we're bringing it back to West Toledo. So I'm really excited for West Toledo in football in general. I'm excited for all the teams. I obviously love my Steelers, I always will, but they're one entity of the league. So bring your kids, get them out there. Things are starting soon and fast. Get with your schools, get with your coaches. And if you can donate, please reach out to the league. And we will obviously accept all those things and put them monies to good reasons, right? I mean,
let's say you don't like the Steelers, right? And let's say you like Whittier. You could donate to Whittier.
Yeah.
You don't just, I'm not here just saying donate to the Steelers. It's all about the league, because at the end of the day, if our league is looking good and we are behaving good, we are going to be the standard. And I told you my end goal is to have one league in Toledo so that everyone can lock in and we know what to expect. We know what we're getting ourselves into, and then we can give these kids something that's been lacking in Toledo for so many years. West Toledo Lightweight League, they did their thing. They had a great run. Mid-City had a great run. But at the end of the day, there's time for change, and I feel like with him having the experience of running the program for 25 years, he's seen the ins and outs. He knows what it's like to be on the back end of a playing against a high school kid. He knows what it's like to have a kid lie to you like, hey, coach, I'm 14 all year. Then you get to the time and this kid go to Whooper. It happens, but in this league, it won't happen. Because we do the extra mile. When you register, you got to put in your kid information right then and there. So we going to know before you even step on the field.
Yeah, you guys are going to do your I don't know how to say it. Like
Due diligence.
Due diligence.
Yeah, that word. Y'all know what we're talking about. But anyways, one thing I want to do is I want to give time to thank this man right here, Gary, because sometimes, we never give our youth coaches their flowers. This man been doing this for 25 years, and he sets a standard that we all want to follow, and there's a couple other coaches in our area, Ken James, Nate James, our star coach, his dad is at Northwood. He's been there for like 30 years. Greg Dempsey, back-to-back state title. He's been at Central Catholic. So you see that if you got a stable pillar, success will be there, you know? So my goal is to continue this rich tradition of this Steelers program.
Yeah, you don't want to be 2 years and out.
No, I want to be here for a while. You know, so like if you are sending me your son at 8 years old, he should be leaving me at 14 and I should be getting your next son. You know, because I'm not in this to just jump to high school.
Yeah.
You know, I love the Steelers. I wouldn't even have called him for a 2-year stint because that's not nowhere near enough time to build the Steelers to where I want to be.
Plus, you already did the high school thing and you wasn't feeling it that much.
No, it wasn't that. Because like I told you before on a personal level, you know, when you get onto the high school level, you got a lot of politics in the game on top of the parents, on top of the kids having to be jobs. A lot of kids in high school, they got a lot of stress things, you know, and they can't really lock in and be focused. Kids, 2 hours is going to be amazing. Every day I get these same group of kids. I get to help these kids grow and develop into great young men and women. That is what I need. Because our city need more, I call it iron workers, people who literally want to go out there and work. And that has a mentality that I'm not calling off work because my shoulder hurts. I'm going to go in there and make my money and I'm going to go home. You know?
Of course. Yeah,
that's good people.
That's really good because I think a lot of people just want to make videos and do this and nobody wants to build the roads, I do this podcast, but I really clean houses. My business is cleaning houses. So I believe that too. I believe we all need to create something, you know, build bridges. We need to build buildings. Like we all can't just have we can't all be TikTokers. We can't all be video gamers.
Somebody got to be the elementary coach.
Yeah.
He was a legend for 25 years. You know, and look, remember I told you when I was the start freshman coach, I used to make sure our practice time was at 5:30. You know why? Because his was at 5. So his kids would be already going. And we'd come there, we get on our field, you know, and it was critical for me to get there early to see what he got over there. And I knew for a fact any kid that came from the Steelers was going to know how to strap their helmet up. They was going to know how to make an open field tackle. I remember when I was the start quarterback, when I was the start coach, special teams, we needed a long snapper. His starting center was a freshman, was the varsity long snapper, going down there making tackles, you know. And Caleb Coyne was a phenomenal player, you know. So I want to continue to instill that to the point where Nate James knows at start, I'm getting a running back from the Steelers. Man, this kid going to be a phenomenal player. I already know that we getting somebody that got the grades, that got a parent support, that know how to fundraise, that know the system. Because that's what it is. If we learn the system, we produce nothing but diamonds.
I just thought of another question. I'm sorry, but isn't it beautiful that he knows all these kids' names, like coaches? Like I can't remember he knows. Like that's beautiful. Anyways, can kids, let's say a young kid from Savannah, but he wants to play for the Steelers. Can he sign up and play for the Steelers?
He can, yeah, he can. So we have districts for the teams that are in the league. We have a district, and it's basically going to be around their school.
So the majority of them are going to come from there.
So for example, Longfellow Steelers, if you were to look at the Longfellow School District, that's going to be the district that you draw from. That's your in-district players. Now, we have a lot of area in Toledo that is no district at all. Those players can play wherever they want. However, we have some rules. If those players go to Longfellow and then they're not getting enough playing time, so they want to go play for a different team, you're not allowed to do that without a release from the head coach of the team that you're playing on. We do that because we don't want to, again, it's about the integrity of the league. We don't want players, the team jump around to try to build this super team. That's not what we want. We want a team that's built because they were developed.
Yes.
This team was developed from the time they were 8 to the time they were 14, and now they're 14, and they've been together for a long time. They're gonna be tough to beat that team.
Yeah.
Man,
and you know what? And that's the program we have. That's the program we had.
That's what I want to be.
It just kept coming every year. It just keeps coming. It keeps happening. Keeps happening. Keeps happening.
I've seen that before. There's this team called Goodfellas.
Oh.
They got all these good ass dudes, and they don't let nobody win in the flag football. Like nobody can beat them because they got like all the stars, and but in flag football it's different. In flag football, everybody can join.
I learned my lesson. So there's a team called Bex. Okay, Bex won 7 straight world championships, right? And I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey Chad, you're the best quarterback in the world. I'm gonna beat you. He laughed at me. You know, he said, dude, come on, man, you won comp last year, so it's levels. You got It's C, B, A. You know, it's different levels. You know, we obviously a pro team. So they be having games on ESPN. You see the little flag guys. We are in that league. You know, we play for the UFFL, and some people play for USA flag. But anyways, my team they've been around for about 15 to 20 years. And when I first came into the league, I played on your team. Yeah. You know, and the good fellas,
Pit Bulls.
Yeah, the Pit Bulls. And the good fellas, they had a good team, and they beat us in the championship.
Yeah,
I
they
want to
beat us
say,
in the championship.
You know, and I wasn't even a part of that team. You know, so me playing for them now, building that culture up, it's amazing, and it's so crazy because like he always says, and you says, if you build it, they gonna come. You know, so everyone wants to play for the Steelers and not Steelers. You is going to play for Steelers. Everybody wants to play for the Goodfellas and Flag because they know this team is a world championship team. We won world championship. They know that we're going to contend. You know that we beat Bex. We're the only team to beat Bex in 7 years. Yeah. You know, and that's an honor. You know, that's a phenomenal program that they got out there. But I want to make sure that we build that with our Steelers and we build our league, our TYFL, you know, to that level. You know,
what's going to be the Steelers culture? Like, what are they going to be hardworking? What is this? What is? I know what the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers culture, but what is the Longfellow Steelers culture?
So one thing you're gonna know about the Longfellow Steelers is we're gonna play hard-nosed football. You know for a fact that these kids are going to be disciplined. You know that they're going to fire out every play. We're going to be the hardest working team. We're never going to be tired, and we might not even huddle. But in order all the X's and O's, my boys are going to be disciplined. They're going to be fundamentally sound, and they're going to be coached well to the point where they go out there and everyone knows they're on assignment. You know, we're going to play as a unit. You know, you won't see all the tic-tac and all the arguing. We just there to play. So our culture is going to be hard-nosed football. You know, we're going to get back to the old school gridiron game, how smash mouth football. We're going to play some good steel curtain defense. Yeah, lock you up and play some good old smash mouth football. This guy right here, he loves to throw the ball. He was a spread guy, you know, and I'm going to use a lot of the spread. But I'm more of a coach that whatever my kids come out, let's say I don't have a quarterback, we're obviously going to run the ball. But if I have a quarterback, I'm always going to coach my kids up to their abilities and a little bit beyond. Yeah. So I know my Steelers, we're going to be a hard-nosed football team.
Yeah,
you know?
So some years you might have more of a running thing, but if you get a good quarterback, you might go more passing.
It's all about adjusting to your players. You know, you got to be adaptable. Some plays that he ran his first year, he couldn't run his last year because certain different kids, you know, and to piggyback, this is how I know about this Steeler tradition. It's phenomenal. He had a kid named Jacoby Myers. Did I say his name? Yeah, Kobe. So Kobe is, if y'all know him, y'all know him. He went to Whitmer. He's a phenomenal player. You know, people like that, you knew this kid was going to be great no matter what team he went to. But he made Kobe buy in. Kobe was the best player in the league, but you didn't know it. He didn't carry himself like that. He carried himself like a Steeler. You know, he get the family oriented. You know, I'm going to work hard. My lineman blocked. Thank you for blocking. We scored together. That's the mentality that I want my kids to keep going on.
Yeah. And to touch on that real quick, it's interesting that you mentioned Kobe because before I came to this podcast today, Kobe played for me. He's graduated from Whitmer now. I don't know. Let's just say he played for me 8 years ago probably. My wife was talking to his mom before I came here because she called her on the phone. So that's the family, right?
That's the family.
It just stays with you.
Yep.
You guys know now. You guys went into Longfellow today.
Oh, yeah.
And when you go into Longfellow, you're Little League football famous now. You walk in and the kids are like, whoa, there's Coach Lee.
Go Ashley, Coach Lee.
So that's some paybacks, right, for everything you do.
So it builds a long-term relationship years and years after.
That's right.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Big Yogi'Z Garage.
Big Yogi Garage.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you very much.
Shout out to Needle Masters. I appreciate y'all getting my boy Yogi together. And Ashley, Dom, you the man.
Thank you guys so much for watching Big Yogi'Z Garage. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you comment. Let's get this show on the road. If anybody wants to help me, I'm still looking for more sponsors. I'm still looking for more supporters. I appreciate you guys so much. See you next week on Big Yogi'Z Garage. Let go and let God.
That's what I'm talking about.
Get in school, baby.